Welcome to The Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to my podcast once again. So, okay, what had happened was, it's giving busy. It's giving quite a bit happening all at one time, and yeah. Okay, so I'm not really going to have no excuse about this. I really have been slacking on doing everyday updates on my podcast. But what I did promise, which I've held true to, is that no matter if the podcast is on the specific day, I will have 30 April episodes. So I'm doing my best to catch up, so I'm not doing like 10 episodes on April 29th. It's really what I'm trying to do. But yeah, like I said, I took a bit of a break after, during Holy Week, basically the week of Good Friday. That week I took pretty much a break most of that week. So I'm coming back to backfill some of those things. Well, not really backfill, just give you extra episodes. It may seem like extra episodes, but really just trying to make up for the episodes that I missed. So that's what I'm doing. So here, I wanted to talk about these things because I feel like social media, which of course is a major thing when it comes to business, there are 4 pillars of social media that we do cover as a company, and things that we talk to our clients about all the time in any way, shape, or form that we can. And that's the 4C's of social media. Now, if you don't know what the 4C's of social media, I know for some people it may be different things, but this is what we have come up with here on our end. And the 4C's of social media include clarity, content, consistency, clarity, content, consistency, and then also connection. So let's just run this down. Actually, I'm probably going to take them out of order slightly. Clarity. Let's jump on that one first. Clarity. This is a major issue. A major issue for a lot of brands, especially new brands, budding brands, new businesses. They don't have clarity on where it is that their business is going. They don't have clarity on what they want their business to be, even having clarity on who their audience is. This is one of the first things that I outline in my Branding 101 document, and that is talking about clarity. You need to be clear who your audience is. This is not a spray and pray approach where we're just going to throw this thing up in the air and it's going to come down like confetti. Y'all know I've talked about this briefly before. You have to have clarity. Who are you here to serve? Right? Because everybody wants to make money in their business, but you have to be clear on what your goal is. What is your goal? Who are you here to serve? What problem are you here to solve? Because at the end of the day, that's really what this really means when it comes to business. If you want to be a successful business, you have to solve a problem. And it could be time. I say for my business, I save a lot of people a whole lot of time. It doesn't mean that what I'm doing in my business doesn't mean that people can't do it for themselves. Absolutely. But they don't have the time to do it. They don't have the time to set up their Instagrams. They don't have time to post on their Facebooks. They don't have time to write blog posts, all of that stuff. They have no time to create their newsletters. They just don't have the time, or they don't have the thought process of how do we really do this? How do we carve out time to do this? So you don't have the time, so you hire a company like Onyx Queen Media to do it for you. Because it's something that we do all the time, and we will save you time, right? Which in turn is going to create revenue for you that you didn't have before, So be clear about who you're trying to serve, who your audience is. Everybody is not your audience. You can have a niche audience. You can. People say, oh, it's if you're too specific. No, there is an audience for everything. So don't get discouraged that you have a niche. Don't get discouraged that, oh, I may just be for this group of people. Listen, sometimes the more exclusive you are is the more people are willing to pay top dollar for what it is that you offer, whatever service that is. Right? So be clear about who you're serving and what problem or whatever it is that you're trying to solve. Right? So clarity. Let's jump to, let's say, connection. What type of connection are you making with people? How are you connecting with people? Are you talking at them on social media? Really think about it. Are you talking at people? Are you giving them a reason to, well, I guess that's really the truth, to connect with you. How do you get people to connect with you? You ask questions on your social media. Do interactive things. Do A or B, or if you're in fashion, is it this outfit on the right or this outfit on the left? Try to see how you can get into people's minds. When you get into people's minds, you can see what's going to make you relatable to them, right? What sort of connection can you create with your audience? So once you clarify who your audience is, how do you connect with them? Right? If they're people that love shoes, then you're like, okay, I'm going to show a whole bunch of shoes. You say they're sneakerheads, okay, then you need to do a top kick of the day or something. You know what I mean? Like, you got to find the connection with your audience. So look for ways to connect with your audience, interacting with your audience, right? And so many different ways to do that, but ask questions, create polls in your stories. I mean, there's so many different things. So create a connection. The next thing is, let's do content, right? Content. What type of content are you putting out? Is it content that people actually want to follow, right? You need content to create the connection. So find out what will connect with the people and then create the content behind that, right? A lot of things that help people to connect are things that are relatable. So if you're in the house business, real estate, you could do before and after. Show how you flipped a house, how it looked before and then after it was staged, and what it looks like now. You know what I mean? That's a great way to connect with people, especially when you're clear, you have clarity about who your audience is. Now that's just in that genre, right? Show people, if you're a musician, show people on how you create a beat, how you create a series of verses to a song. How do you come up with lyrics? Show the process, the creative process, the behind the scenes content. That's a form of content, right? Okay. And the fourth C, consistency. I think that's one of the toughest things. And I think that I have been very transparent about that, even in for my own self, for my own things that I do every day. It's so hard to stay consistent. So I can have clarity. Child, let me tell you something. Ooh. Listen, you know what that was? Let me tell you what that was. That was clients paying their bill. Okay? That's what that noise was. Listen, we are not even going to cut that out. I'm not even joking. That's so funny. But you know what? If a client wants to pay a bill at midnight, by all means, because money is green 24 hours a day. I'm not going to say who the client is because I could actually see their name, but I won't say, that's too funny. I won't say who they are, but I appreciate y'all. Okay. I am not going to cut that out. I'm going to leave that in here. That's too funny. All right. Consistency. Consistency is tough. It is definitely, I was very transparent about this not too long ago. I think maybe 2-3 episodes ago about staying consistent. Now that you're clear about who your audience is, now that you have made the connection with them, and now you've created the content, but are you posting your content on a regular basis? You know, because we get all fired up and we post content and then we don't do anything for like a week other than taking a break or being on vacation or whatever. But sometimes people drop off their social media for like a month. And let me tell you, I'll be honest, I've been guilty of it where I don't post anything on my timeline for over a month. You can't expect to stay relevant in front of your audience if you don't constantly stay consistent. That doesn't mean that you have to post 10 times a day, right? Because that's a little obsessive. You don't have to post 10 times a day, but you should be posting consistently to stay at the top of people's news feeds. I used to always wonder why one of these folks who I follow, who I think is such a great, I just think they do such great things in business, right? And I always see them at their stories, their little circle is always at the front of the pack. And I'm like, how is this all the time? Well, the stories that show all the time in the front of the line are the people who have the latest stories, the people who have the most recent things that they've posted. So that's why they keep jumping to the front of the line. So if you're even at least posting in your stories consistently, your face is going to show at the front of that row of circles all the time. Now, you don't have to post stories all day long, but post them consistently, even throughout the day, because stories is something that you can certainly post several of, at a time. But I promise you, if you do that, you will stay ahead of the pack most of the time, right? Consistency is key. And I know we've said that so many times on this podcast, but it's true. You got to stay consistent. Once consistency drops off, then everything else starts to fall off from that. So let's just recap real quick. The 4 C's of social media is clarity. Be clear on who you are here to serve and the problem you are trying to solve, right? And create that connection, right? Find a way to create that relatable connection with your audience. Once you're clear who your audience is, what do they like? What will they connect with? What will they find relatable? Right? And then the third thing is content. Get down and dirty with your graphic, people or whatever, and have them create content for you. If you're not good at creating content, if you don't know how to create flyers, pay somebody to do a bunch of flyers for you. You know what I'm saying? Invest in your brand. Say, you know what? How many flyers, how many pieces of content, how many videos, how many, mini commercials can you do for me for $500 or $1,000 or whatever? I'm telling you, you will have content ready to go and you won't have to think about creating it. And you can always recycle. So let's say you have maybe 20 pieces of content. You can go back on the 21st day and repost content from earlier. Don't be afraid to go back to like December, and say, wow, that was a really great post on December 15th. You can repurpose that content now in April. It's not hard to do. Repetition is what gets people to buy anyway. We see the same commercials all the time. Coca-Cola doesn't have 20 commercials out at the same time. They usually have the same commercial that they run for, a couple of months, and you see that same commercial. So think about your content like that as well. You can repurpose content all day long, and you have plenty of stuff, and it feels new and fresh each time. All right, so that's your content. Consistency. Make sure that you're being consistent with what you are putting out there. Don't drop off of social media for a whole week. No explanations, no nothing. You know what I mean? Once you start giving people great content, they are going to want to see you on there on a regular basis. Commit to it. Commit to it. If every day is too much, at least I would say especially on Instagram, 2-3 times a week is fair. I really think that you should be posting on there at least Monday through Friday. You should post at least 1 time a day, but 2 to 3 times a week, at least do that, right? So that people know that your account is there, that you're alive and well, and people realize that you're still active. Because that's another thing too. People tend to fall off and unfollow when consistency drops down, right? So clarity, connection, content, consistency. The 4C's of social media. I guarantee you, if you master those 4 things, you will be well on your way to making great strides with your brand, right? And when you make great strides with your brand, what ends up happening? Revenue begins to flow. Okay? All right. You guys want to keep in touch with me? You can follow me on Instagram. That's my most active social media, at Onyx Queen Media. And if you tag me, I will repost you, like, share, subscribe. Tag me and let me know you're listening, and I will repost you in my stories as a shout out. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Online savings simplified. Don't search for coupon codes ever again. With one click, Honey's smart shopping assistant will automatically apply discounts to your cart in seconds. Save on all your favorite things. Easily pay less for products you're already buying online. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Join Honey for free. It takes 2 clicks to add Honey to your Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or Opera browser. Find savings in seconds. While you shop, Honey will find working promo codes across the entire internet, and you save instantly. With 1 click, Honey will apply the best deals to your cart. It's that easy. So what are you waiting for? Get Honey. Download it today. Visit our link, www.tinyurl.com/ONYXHONEY. That's www.tinyurl.com/Onyx Honey. Start saving right now.